यूट्यूब में हिंदी वाला लिंक मैं आपको भेजूं? Well, you have it already. Already उन्होंने ब्रह्मचर्य आज हाँ मतलब चालू नहीं हुआ है। हाँ तो यहाँ पे तो लाइव दिखा रहा है ना। गुरु गुरु को अंकल बुलाओ।
हरि राम 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 हरि
आ गया।
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा।
कॉन्करेंट व्यूअर्स 4 करके दिखा रहा है। वो अभी नीचे भूतोरे छोले लेने के लिए जाएंगे।
7 बजे चालू होगा ना?
7 बज गए अभी एग्जैक्टली। ये आपका इसमें नहीं है तो यहाँ में 5 कॉन्करेंट व्यूअर्स करके आ रहा है ना। सो दिस इज व्हाट दे आर एबल टू सी। सो आर देयर टू से ये let me see if I'm able to view it हरे कृष्णा। तो सभी भक्तों का आज के इस कार्यक्रम में हम स्वागत करना चाहते हैं। श्री पंकजांघ्रि प्रभु को आज श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करेंगे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। We welcome all devotees
तो सभी भक्तों का हम स्वागत
to
करना
this
चाहते
memorial
हैं
festival of
आज के इस
His Grace
श्रद्धांजलि
Pankaganghari
उत्सव में
Prabhu,
परम पूज्य पंकजांघ्रि प्रभु के यादगार में।
and I thank all of you for
और मैं आप सभी
joining in
भक्तों
today
को
evening.
धन्यवाद
We are
देना
also
चाहता
very
हूँ
blessed that His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj
कि
will
आप
also
सब
be joining
सम्मिलित
us.
हुए हैं और परम पूज्य राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज को भी
And
वो भी आज
last
आकर के
week,
हमें संबोधित करेंगे।
all of us
पिछले हफ्ते
saw this heartbreaking news
हम
about
सबने ये बहुत ही
His Grace Pankaganghari
दुखद
Prabhu leaving
समाचार
us.
को
Definitely,
प्राप्त किया
the
कि
entire Vaishnava community, ISKCON community, was saddened
हमारे
by this news.
प्रिय
At the
पंकजांघ्रि
same
प्रभु
time, all
में
of us
का
are
निधन हुआ
deeply
है। वो
grateful
पूरे
that
इस्कॉन
we could
समूह के
see such
परिवार
a wonderful Vaishnava, hear from him, associate
से
with
हम
know
विरह
him.
का अनुभव कर रहे
And
थे
most
और
importantly, all of us are very grateful
साथ
that
ही साथ हम सब बहुत
Krishna fulfilled
कृतज्ञ
his
हैं
desire
कि
and
भगवान
he
श्री
had the
कृष्ण
desire
ने
to
अपनी
leave his
इच्छा पूर्ति
body
की
in Sri
कि
Mayapur
वो
Dham.
श्री मायापुर धाम में अपने
And
शरीर
as
को
Bhaktivinoda
त्यागें।
Thakur has
और
beautifully
जैसे
said
भक्तिविनोद
that he
ठाकुर जी
reasons
कहते हैं
still
कि he
who
reasons
says
still
Vaishnavas
जो
die.
ये
For
समझते
thou art
हैं
still living in sound.
कि
Vaishnavas die to
वैष्णव
live and
मर
when
जाते
living they
हैं,
spread the holy name
वैष्णव
around.
हमेशा जीवित
So
रहते
today we
हैं
have an
और जीते
opportunity
जीते
to perform
भगवान की
Sankirtan,
का
glorifying
संकीर्तन पूरे दुनिया में
Krishna, Krishna's beautiful devotees.
करते हैं।
And Pankaganghari Prabhu,
तो आज
as
के
all
इस
of us know, is very, very
दिन
special because he not only
पंकजांघ्रि
served
प्रभु
Radha
हमारे
Madhav, Narsimhadev,
मंदिर के लिए राधा
Panchatatva,
माधव
Krishna
नरसिम्हदेव
very
जी
beautifully,
और भगवान श्री कृष्ण
but
की
he
सेवा
also
तो करते ही
served
थे,
so
साथ ही
many
साथ
devotees.
उन्होंने बहुत
All the
सारे भक्तों को
petitions
सेवा की
devotees
है।
were making,
खासकर
and Pankaganghari Prabhu very
अलग अलग
lovingly,
भक्त लोग उनसे
Bhaktivinoda Thakur
याचना
says,
करते कि
Kandiya
नरसिम्हदेव जी के लिए
Kandiya Jana Iba
प्रार्थना
Dukha
करें।
Gram, Samsara Nala
कांदिया
Hoite
कांदिया
Madhive
जाना ही
Vishram.
दुख ग्राम।
So we cry and go
तो
to
हम
a
सब
Vaishnava
रोते
who
रहते हैं
petitions
और
Krishna on our
वैष्णव
behalf.
के
Shunya
पास जा
Amara
रहे हैं।
Dukha Vaishnava Thakur Amalagi Krishna Abe Dibena Prachu. Vaishnava is very compassionate because
वैष्णवगण बहुत ही
Hare Krishna.
कृतज्ञ हैं कि
Thank you, Maharaj, for joining us. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has beautifully said
तो
that when a Vaishnava
भक्तिविनोद
hears our
ठाकुर जी बहुत
petition, he he appeals to Krishna on our behalf, and Pankaganghari Prabhu has petitioned prayers on behalf of so many devotees. And today we are very blessed that we are with us His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And in Chowpatty, we have also been very fortunate, thanks to Maharaj's guidance, that we have so many devotees who had an opportunity to serve His Grace Pankaganghari Prabhu very intimately. So we will be hearing from them their offerings, and then we will also be inviting His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj to share his realizations also. So we will begin with His Grace Gauranga Prabhu.
हम गौरांग प्रभु से हम शुरुआत
Over to
करते
you,
हैं।
Gauranga Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
मैं हेडफोन लेके आता हूँ। नहीं, हाँ
इसी को
नहीं, मैं भी सुनूंगा ना।
Start, Prabhu. Yeah.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
हरि बोल।
His Grace Pankaganghari
हाँ प्रभु मेरे ऑफिस में आ जाओ ना, 2 मिनट।
So His Grace Pankaganghari Prabhu has played a major role
नहीं चल रहा, मतलब वो बोल रहे सुनाई नहीं दे रहा, आप चेक कर सकते हो?
increase our shraddha in one of the 5 limbs of bhakti, which is Archana. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad has glorified the 5 most important limbs of bhakti as Harinam, Bhagavatam, Dham Seva, Vaishnav Seva and Archana. By his dedicated service and example, His Grace Pankaganghari Prabhu has inspired a community of devotees across the world on the importance of steady service to the deities. In the Bhagavatam it is said, the symptom of a purified soul is Dhautatma Purusha Krishna Pada Moolam Na Munchati Mukta Sarva Pariklesha Pantha Swasharanamita. A symptom of a purified soul is that he will never give up his service in any circumstance. And so we find that Pankaganghari Prabhu became the first pujari to actually worship Lord Narsingadev, which was installed in Mayapur for the protection of ISKCON devotees and preachers and leaders all over the world. He has been in such a fortunate position because he has offered puja, prayers for protection on behalf of devotees all over the world for, the last 4 decades.
पिछले 40 सालों से वो सेवा कर रहे हैं और कितने सारे आशीर्वाद वो प्राप्त किए हैं भगवान के और वैष्णव के।
His humility,
उनका सादगी,
his genuine devotion and
उनका
his
भक्ति
compliance to take the position of being
अनेक
like a Shiksha disciple of Jananivas Prabhu
उनके
very much exemplifies the Vaishnava spirit of being the servant of the servant. I remember in 2004 when I went to London for the first time,
पहली बार जब मैं लंदन गया था,
I happened to be
तब
given accommodation in Bhaktivedanta Manor,
which
they had arranged, and it was in sharing with Pankaganghari Prabhu in the same room. So I considered that to be a very auspicious lakshana, that my first trip abroad begins with the auspicious protection
पाश्चात्य
of
देश में
Lord
पहली बार जब
Nrsimhadev,
जा
and it
रहा
is
हूँ
a
तो मुझे
Swami Chaitanya Prabhu.
पंकजांघ्रि
And
प्रभु का संग मिल
although
रहा
so
था,
senior, he really made me feel
और
so
वो
comfortable.
बहुत ही सीनियर थे,
And
लेकिन फिर भी उन्होंने मुझे
in
बहुत
the
ही
evening, when we went to visit the house of a
प्रेम
very
से रहने के लिए दिया, और
established business.
Sarasate debe Gauravani pracharine Nirvishesha sunnavadi Pashato deshatarine.
Kind of a bitter pill that you have to follow. And at the same time, is that any way that we can, in the sense that keep this particular inevitable thing in a as much distance as possible. In the sense that I got a mail today from one senior Prabhupada disciple, where he wrote me that there is not much time left for me, and he was asking me certain things. So I felt that there are many Prabhupada disciples, many devotees like this. We are unparalleled service they have done. So this devotee's leaving is inevitable, and we have to feel the miseries or separation. So within that framework, like Pankaganghari Prabhu, just 1 month back, he was dancing nicely. We have seen the videos in Jagannath Rath Yatra. He is dancing, and it's like a abrupt kind of, within 1 month leaving. So gives a lot of pain. So is it that now on the other hand, is now Jalanivas Prabhu is there. The Jalanivas Prabhu prayed to Krishna to bring Pankaganghari Prabhu when he was doing services in 72s. So then he said, Krishna answered my prayers, and Pankaganghari Prabhu came and joined him. So, so these devotees are very rare. Like we have got a lot of projects, like big temples, big projects, which has to be constructed, which has to be protected. So all these things we are worried about, and we are working about, and we are promoting about. But these devotees, such as Prabhupada said, Jalanivas Prabhu there is no comparison for him. They are Vaikuntha men. So all these things are there. So these devotees staying with us is something we have to. I mean, this is a terrible experience we had few days back, and now Jalanivas Prabhu is staying. So, of course, in this material world, separation is inevitable. But Krishna is also a person. So, in one sense, Krishna is also terrible, who causes all terrible experiences. He is, as Acharya's words, a crooked, and he is very whatever many other way they use. But at the same time, Krishna is also a merciful person. So in that sense, as we are working on doing a lot of hard work for many projects, so probably this could be also important aspect of concern that these devotees, now Jananias Prabhu is staying. So is there can be some kind of different aspects the devotees can work on to protect them from physical side, whatever medical help and other things. Other than that, that very important thing is that how to deal with Krishna so that he can give their association for us a longer time to come. Bhanu Swami Maharaj mentioned that some devotees asked him that we have did a lot of prayers, but Prabhuji left. So he said, why we should do prayers? He asked, Krishna is independent. He is going to do anything what he wants to do. So we should do prayers. So then he said that Krishna is a Bhakta Vatsala. He is independent, but at the same time, Tatiyeshu Dakyeshu Bhaktir Jitatpum Punar Prematastam Shatavrati Vrindya. He is actually controlled by devotees. So the devotees sincerely appeal to him, he really considers. So Krishna is also flexible. So in that sense, as a devotee care project, we have to do something other than the offerings and pastimes, listenings, this kind of how to keep them as much as possible. Separation is inevitable, but can we postpone these kind of things as from our side and our endeavor in various aspects? So these kinds of thoughts came to me. I don't know, maybe this is not a right forum. This may not be the right forum, but I'm just thinking about, like Shivaram Maharaj spoke that in his offering to Pankaganghari Prabhu, that he also pointed to Jananias Prabhu. Prabhu, you are another twin remaining with us, so please stay and do not have any other plans to leave us. So like that, I really like that thing. So various ways we have to do certain things, even though there is a mass prayers for the devotees who are affected by the disease in general. But sometimes I feel that other than the mass prayers for devotees in general, these specific devotees, because one is the prayer towards Krishna for their protection, and also another thing is appealing to these devotees not to leave us. Please stay as much as possible. So the mass prayers, Krishna, it towards Krishna, but these devotees may tell us they may decide to leave, so there will be great cause. So there has to be appeal between. There can be appeal in both sides. So Pankajang. So I'll conclude. Pankaganghari Prabhu, even though you served the angry Nrsimhadev, but you are, for us, you are like a jangri sweet. Jangri is one of the Indian sweet. It is sometime in the jangri just comes from the pan. It is very hot. So right now you are a hot jangri, which is very difficult to swallow. But as a day passes, through your memories, and as soon as we meet you again in the spiritual realm, so we will be continuing to relish you, serve you, and we are just hoping to get that time soon. And all these things happen, especially in Radha Gopinath temple, serving him, is that because of the mercy of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, who attracted so many great souls, Jananias Prabhu, Pankaganghari Prabhu especially, and other great Prabhupada disciples, without which we could not have got chance to interact with them or serve them. So I am so grateful to him. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Pankaganghari Prabhu ki jai, Gaurav Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Nityanand Prabhu, thank you very much for highlighting this very beautiful point about how we can never speak about Pankaganghari Prabhu or Jananivas Prabhu without speaking about the other. Both the brothers are transcendently inseparable, and very beautifully brought out this combination, Jananivas Prabhu's innocent and shy introverted gravity, and Pankajangri Prabhu's cheeky smiles and mischievous twinkle in his eyes, that makes an irresistible combination. All devotees are simply attracted by this. And also the wonderful thing is, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with his associates, they would have very grave discussions. But in Narendra Sarovar, they would splash water and they would have a lot of transcendental mischief. Similarly, Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajangri Prabhu would discuss deep philosophical topics. At the same time, in Ganga, they were so popular with the Gurukul children, with Grahasthas, with Brahmacharis, everybody, for their very fun-loving and happy, innocent exchanges. So very nicely you brought this. Thank you so much, Nityanand Prabhu. Now I would like to request His Grace Murlidhar Prabhu to share his offering. Over to you, Murlidhar Prabhu.
Sorry. Hare Krishna. It all started in the year 2000, when for the first time His Grace Jananivas Prabhu left Sridham Mayapur. Last 30 years he had been serving Shri Radha Madhav, and he came to Mumbai on the insistence of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Can you hear me? On the insistence of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and that time I had the good fortune of rendering some dental services. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj asked me if I can do some services for him. And the next year in 2001, his brother Pankajangri Prabhu also came. They attended the Pune Yatra, and during that period, I had the good fortune of doing some service for Pankajangri Prabhu also. And then what happened is that every year, both of them would come for different events, maybe for DT installations or Pune Yatra or Kate Yatra, like that. And our relationship grew. And it so happened that in the year 2002, His Grace Pankajangri Prabhu just casually approached me and asked me whether can you make a ivory set of teeth for Lord Narsinghdev, because till then Lord Narsinghdev had copper teeth. So I just did not act on it at that time because I thought Pankajangri Prabhu is joking. But then when I went in the year 2003, I took my parents to Sridham Mayapur. And that time Pankajangri Prabhu met me and he told me, he said, "Where is the stuff?" So I didn't understand what he was speaking about. He said, "Where is the stuff for making the teeth for Lord Narsinghdev?" So that time I understood that he is actually serious about what he's speaking. Then I had an interaction. I spoke to my Gurudev, and then he just told me, he said, if it is Pankajangri Prabhu's desire, then you should do that service for Lord Narsinghdev. Do it with sincerity. So I informed Pankajangri Prabhu that I'll be coming and I'll be performing that service. So we went as a team in the year 2003 in the month of August. Myself, Nitya Krishna Prabhu, Jagannath Vallabh Prabhu, along with a lab technician. We set up an entire, lab under the altar of Shri Radha Madhav, and it took us almost about 5 to 6 days, and then finally we were able to make one set for Lord Narsinghdev, the ivory set teeth. So during this particular period, I had a very close interaction with Pankajangri Prabhu. I would observe him very closely. I would see that how focused he was in his service to Lord Narsinghdev. He was like a man of perfection. Whenever you would try out these teeth in the mouth of the Lord, you would see it from different angles, from the right side, from the left side, from behind, from front of the altar, then come in the hall and try to see whether it's okay or not. And then he had a very peculiar way of observing. You just like this, see whether it's okay or not. So that way he would just see that. And I saw that he would pay so much of attention to detail and was constantly monitoring us to ensure that the Lord received the best service and nothing less. This is one thing I learned from him. He would spend hours observing a teeth and give us feedback as to what can be done to improve. This was one thing I just saw in him, a totally focused personality as far as service is concerned, and he would just do the best for Lord Narsinghdev. And he was so simple and so humble that, whenever we would do some service for Lord Narsinghdev, he would serve that person, that he serve us in a way that, thinking that we are very dear to Lord Narsinghdev. He would serve us Rajbhog. He would personally serve with his own lotus hands and see that we are totally satisfied. He would not keep for himself. Only after we are finished, then he would just, take prasad for himself. When I'm talking himself, both the brothers, they would be serving together and they would be doing that service. Every time we would go and offer that service. So this was my brief interaction with him. And subsequently, we needed some modification of the teeth also. Then we did that. And finally, we got to the shape that he wanted, which the Lord has in his mouth. So by his mercy, we were able to do that service for him. I found in him that, as we were doing the service, I came very close also with him as well as his brother. And I saw him as a person who was so loving and affectionate. He had a smile, a typical smile, a fatherly smile, like he would just smile at you and then he would win our hearts. So loving he was. His glances, his wit, his sweet interaction attracted me to him. One more thing I saw in Pankaganghari was that he was so easily approachable, actually. So easily approachable. Anyone could approach him, It is that I would always talk to him on phone, and I would always, request Pankaganghari Prabhu to pray for some devotee who would be in distress. From devotees from Bombay would tell me that please, ask Pankaganghari Prabhu to offer prayers. And then I could call him up at any time. And would pick up the phone, and he would hear intently how much, intensely how much, whatever the person is going through. He would ask me all the details. He'll ask me the person's name, and promptly he would say, right now I'm going to the altar and I'm offering prayers for that particular devotee. He never wasted that. He just immediately, he would say, I would just go immediately and I'll offer prayers. So that was the, way Pankaganghari Prabhu always behaved. I definitely am aware that he's doing that with everyone else also. But what I want to say is, so easily approachable. That was another aspect of him. And so comfortable to talk to him. He would guide me regularly on different aspects of deity worship and yagyas, like either himself or Janasva, both of them would always guide me. But more than Janasva, I would talk to Pankaganghari Prabhu, so much so that, whenever I would call up, and if Janasva picks up the phone, he would say, would you like to talk to me, or would you like to talk to Pankaganghari Prabhu? And then say, oh, Prabhuji, I would like to talk to you also as well as Pankaganghari Prabhu. He wants to talk to you. And that's how you would, interact. And I, whenever he would pick up my phone, he'll say, Murli, how are you? And he would ask about Radhanath Maharaj. He would ask about the different things happening in the temple. So this is how he would interact with me. I would like to conclude with one incident which took place just about 7 years back. We wanted to welcome Sri Radha Vanbyar in our house, in the house where we are staying. So I just sent a message to him. I said, Prabhu, please accept my obeisances, and we are welcoming Sri Radha Vanbyar in our house, the new house in Borivali where we are staying now. Please pray for us and give us your blessings. He immediately sent a message to me which really struck me. He said that you are welcoming Radha Krishna not in your house. You are welcoming Radha Krishna in their house. So it just struck me. And he wrote in capital letters and bold letters. Then it struck me that, what a mistake I'm doing. I'm telling that I'm welcoming them in our house. Actually, it's their house. They are the proprietors of the house, and we are only the servants. So this is the mood that Pankaganghari Prabhu always had, always in the mood of being the servant of the servant of servant. And anytime anybody needs anything, he would always be there to serve all of us. And it so happened that in my last interaction, Pankaganghari Prabhu just met me and said, can you make some few more sets of the teeth? Because sometimes it falls down and then, we have to search from within the flowers. So I said, Prabhu, I definitely do that. And I decided that, when we go for the Mayapur Yatra, that we'll make some sets for him, for the Lord. But unfortunately, because of the COVID, we could not visit Sridham Mayapur last year. We were supposed to have our Mayapur Yatra last year, but we could not do that. Then just about a month and a half, I was just thinking about this particular, that I had committed to Pankaganghari Prabhu. I just thought that I will go in the month of August, September and, meet Pankaganghari Prabhu and then offer this service to him. I hope that I may be able to do what I had promised him to do so in the near future under the guidance of Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Muralidhar Prabhu, for your beautiful offering. Actually, this is the perfection of your being a dentist. That thanks to Pankaganghari Prabhu, you could offer ivory teeth to Lord Narasimhadev. And you very beautifully highlighted the quality of Pankaganghari Prabhu of being very, very approachable. And as you were speaking, we were realizing how, we say Krishna is all attractive, but Krishna reveals his most attractive potency through special devotees like Pankaganghari Prabhu. It is through devotees like Pankaganghari Prabhu that we can see how Krishna is so attractive. And his most amazing quality of being free from any kind of fault finding. Ajata Shatra, he was dear to everyone. No criticism, no fault finding, just absorbed in serving devotees and Krishna. So thank you so beautifully. You brought this out. And now I would like to request His Grace Haribol Anand Prabhu, who also had the opportunity to serve Pankaganghari Prabhu very intimately for many years. So Haribol Anand Prabhu, we all would like to hear from you.
Hare Krishna. So I'm very grateful to the temple management who has given me such a wonderful opportunity to speak now, as well as I'm grateful to the temple management for all the years they allowed me to serve the great souls, Pankaganghari Prabhu, Jananivas Prabhu, since the year 1998. And some realizations and certain interactions which I had, I would like to share. So many devotees at this point of time must be feeling that Pankaganghari Prabhu left this world before the temple of Vedic Planetarium opening happened. So let me share one pastimes with you to let you know that Ambrish Prabhu said, before the great people go, what happened is the entourage goes before. So in the last year, 2020, in the month of February, they had the DT floor opening. And this DT floor opening, everything inch by inch was organized, planned and arranged by Pankaganghari Prabhu. So I got certain messages from the architects. They said that Pankaganghari Prabhu gave them dimensions of each and everything, the plates, the hooks, as well as the room's dimensions, and he was also mingling with the workers so that they do the work in the very best way. So he said that for his devotees, they should not feel very stressed out, but they should be happy, because Krishna would like to see his devotees being happy rather than being stressed out. And to the extent he was caring for the devotees, that when he came back from Calcutta and he was in Mayapur, an Ayurvedic doctor came and gave him massage. So then his health started recuperating a little bit, and he immediately said to this Ayurvedic doctor, "Did you give massage to Shadbhuj Prabhu, who is also one of the architects for the TOVP?" So in this last phase of time, he was able to think of other devotees also and for their welfare also. We have heard so many nursing their pastimes. I will share one of my personals. My mother had a breast cancer, and we were there in Mayapur Yatra once, and in front of Pankaganghari Prabhu, she just bursted out in tears and she said, "This tumor is giving me a lot of pain." Immediately, Pankaganghari Prabhu folded his hands and he said, "I pray to Lord Narsinghdev that he removes the pain from your tumor." And you won't believe, ever since then, my mother never had pain in the tumor. And then she kept on again crying, because she said, "Oh my God, I went in front of such a pure devotee and I asked for the thing, I should have asked for devotion, I should have asked for seva, I should have asked for all those things. Instead of that, I asked this." So, but the fact is that it is true, when he prayed sincerely, that for the devotees, it many times did really miracles. So regarding deity worship, I would like to say that he had also given the name Radha Sham Sundar for the deities of Anand Prabhu and Radhanath Prabhu, and he gave certain instructions which is very much applicable for all the devotees worldwide when it comes to home worship. When you are having deities at home, he said things can be flexible, but if you keep certain standards, you need to maintain it for the rest of your life. Plus, he said, make sure whatever you do, you should do it with love and devotion. That's one of the most important things. And one more thing he said is, whether the lordships are able to see or not, whether it is visible or not visible, everything should be done in a perfect way. Why? Because it is being offered to the Lord. So anyone who is doing deity worship, we should always remember this instruction from Pankaganghari Prabhu, that we should try to do in the level best, in the most perfect way. And one of the most important things he said is, when devotees are going for festivals in the temple, they should not put the deities to rest. They should not put the home deities to rest, because the home deities also take part in the festival if you have not put them on rest. So we should let the deities remain awake so that they can be part of the Abhishekam, they can be part of the flower festival or whichever festivals we are attending. So this is also one of the instructions. And on the lighter side, they had been also invited to GV, Govardhan Eco Village, for installation of Radha Vrindan Bihari, Giriraj, Madan Mohanji. And the first time when we had the first bungalow made, at that time also they were invited. And Pankaganghari Prabhu very laughingly said, because in this visit, they had only one seva, to come and sleep in this bungalow. So Radhanath Maharaj was on the first floor, and Pankaganghari Prabhu, Janani Prabhu, they were sleeping in the ground floor. And they said, we flew all the way from Mayapur and we have come here to do this one service. What is that service? Just sleep. So that's very wonderful. This is the wonderful service we have ever done. Just like Prabhupada said, secret of Bhagavad Gita is total absorption. And I had seen in both the brothers so much absorption. And especially speaking about Pankaganghari Prabhu, I remember 2 times we were about to miss the flight because of the traffic jam. It was really, beyond, although we had kept sufficient time gap. And I was quite tensed up, but then he continuously went on chanting. And hardly I have seen, because we have been with him in Char Dham Yatra. It was in 2011. And I was there with them, for 15 straight days. And throughout the time, these 2 brothers were always into devotional practices. Throughout the time, they were chanting or hearing or doing devotion, bhakti. And I remember in this Char Dham Yatra, they said, we have come to Dham, we should do austerities. And the amazing thing is, They went to Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath, Badrinath, and they took bath in all the places. And anyone who has been there, they know the water is freezing cold. And they would take bath, and even the locals would say that you may fall, you may die, it's so risky. But they said, no, we need to take bath in the holy places. And that's what they would do, austerity. To the extent, I would say that even when they went to Kedarnath, there was a horse ride and there were different ways, helicopter, they could have gone. But they said, no, we would like to walk. And they walked all the 14 kilometers. It took them almost 8 hours. And they said, if we are going to take darshan of the lordships, then we should do some austerities, then we get the blessings. Then they wanted to go in some seclusion. We arranged for the rooms in Bhavishya Badri, and there were 2 rooms I had finalized. One was a little bit opulent one was simple one. And as soon as they arrived, they said, we want the simple one. And that shows that how simple they were. And in 1998, when the first time I served them, I saw the toothbrush. The bristles, instead of standing, they were just completely slanting, which showed that for years together, they had not changed the bristles also. So it showed how simple they were. Every day, 7 p.m., they were sure to do Gaur Aarti. They would invite myself and Nityanand Prabhu also. And they would never, ever, miss morning program. In spite of both the brothers, they were brought to Bombay for hernia operation, for cataract operation. And all this time, they were really, spiritually fully absorbed in spite of many things, odds and the health and other issues. And the other part was Jananivas Prabhu never wanted to leave Mayapur. So Pankaganghari Prabhu did the seva for his brother. He used to go to London back with his brother's passport and his passport and visa. And what he would do is he would first day go in the embassy and get his visa renewed. Then go next day with another t-shirt and go as Jananivas Prabhu and get his visa renewed. So that's how Jananivas Prabhu for 40 years plus, he never had to leave. And as I said, they were so concerned. We went in 2011 and 2013. We know there was floods in, Kedarnath. And one morning, fine morning during those days, I got a call from Pankaganghari Prabhu. And I said, yes, Prabhu. He said, no, I just wanted to hear from you. Hari Bol, that's all. And I could see that they were so concerned that, whether I am fine or not, I'm part of the floods and all. And when it came to DT worship, I remember I brought them from the flight from Calcutta. They came. They arrived at Radha Girdhari temple, which is in Meera Road, almost at 8 or 9 in the evening, without taking any dinner. They just went inside the altar and they were working out because next day was the installation. They were doing seva till 3 in the morning. Now, please, we should know that they were of the age of 74 at that time. So at the age of 74, they could serve all night. Then again, next day, they were fully busy in deity worship. So it is so amazing to see them, doing deity worship in such a detailed way, And to wind up, I would say 2 offerings one from Jayapataka Maharaj and one from Jananivas Prabhu. Jayapataka Maharaj, who is the senior most devotee in our ISKCON whole world. In fact, Prabhupada gave him sannyas at the age of 21, and he told Prabhupada, I'm just 21 years old. So Prabhupada said, you are not the body. And that was Prabhupada's reply, and Prabhupada gave him sannyas. So in his offering, he made this point very clear. He said, although we see Pankaganghari Prabhu passed away because of COVID, but we should know that's the external reason. He made it very clear, so all devotees should know this. He said, although Pankaganghari Prabhu left because of COVID, but it's the external reason, it was Lord Krishna's plan. At the same time, Jayapataka Maharaj said, we all need to be careful. It is a GBC's request to all the devotees that we need to take care of ourselves in this pandemic, and we should protect ourselves and serve Krishna in the level best way. As we know, nothing happens without the sanction of the Lord, as Prabhupada has sufficiently times repeated in his purpose. Not a blade of grass moves without Krishna's sanction. So it has happened because Lord Krishna's wish was there. So regarding this one pandemic, one point I would like to make that I was serving both the brothers, and I asked, Prabhu, that, some devotees are so much caught up because of, grahas and stars, and someone says black magic or so many things. And you can say for this time, you can say it's maybe COVID. So he just looked at me, both the brothers, and they just gave like a very narrow sight, and they said, "Who do you think is more stronger, all these problems or Krishna?" So I said, "Definitely Krishna," and that was it. By just one simple answer, they could solve all the issues. That Krishna is more stronger. So if we have faith in Krishna, if we take surrender to Krishna, is the best part. At last, Jananivas Prabhu said, when 1997, when Prabhupada was leaving this world, 77, when Prabhupada was leaving, he was remembering both these brothers. That showed how much Prabhupada loved both of them. And then Jananivas Prabhu said, in 1977, I was feeling so much separation, so much pain, so much sorrow. And now, today, in 2021, again, I am feeling the same thing because my brother, he has gone. He's no more with me physically. But then he said one of the most important things. At that time, I took shelter in Jiva, because the Jiva's constitutional position is to serve. Jivera Swarupa Krishna Das. And he said, if we take shelter of Seva now, so this is what we are going to do till the end of the life, if Prabhupada and Krishna wishes. If we are humble and sincere, we will do till the rest of the life, till the end of the life, and we will also do it when we go in our next bodies, wherever Krishna wants. He said, this service is the most important, and if we take shelter of this service under the most precarious condition also, Krishna is there to protect us, and Krishna will guide us to perfection. Difference between material and spiritual life is, material life people leave the bodies, but then they keep on taking, the soul keeps on taking rebirth again and again in different bodies, and you never meet as a father, mother, brother, sister. But Jananivas Prabhu said, we meet again, not after a long time, but very soon in the spiritual world. As one of the devotees of Prabhupada, he said, because he was sharing that Prabhupada said, we will also make a ISKCON in the spiritual world. So we look forward to meet Pankaganghari Prabhu there again and serve him and offer all the services at his lotus feet. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Haribol Anand Prabhu, for your beautiful heart-touching offering. You brought out many beautiful qualities of Pankaganghari Prabhu. How, he was also excellent in planning the third floor EOVP arrangements which he made. It was amazing. In fact, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj also was mentioning in his offering that the DT department is so well managed by both the brothers, and they are excellent managers also. And he was saying how there has been no financial discrepancy, no complaints, no problems in the DT department, because they are relying not on management techniques, but their pure love of Krishna. And Pankaganghari Prabhu's secretary was mentioning how one day one devotee came and gave 25,000 rupees donation for the DTs, and immediately Pankaganghari Prabhu said, Jai, Hari Bol, and then immediately told his secretary, count the money before you make the receipt. So basically he balanced practicality and transcendentalism both very beautifully. And also the quality of your, how you very compassionately prayed for your mother. So this is the quality of a wonderful Vaishnava like Pankaganghari Prabhu. Vaishnavera Nivedana, Krishna Dayamoy, Ena Pamara Prati Hobena Sadai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this is a Vaishnava's mercy that he approaches Krishna on our behalf. So beautiful, Hariman Prabhu, thank you so much. Now I would like to request His Grace Prem Kishore Prabhu, who was also very dear to Pankaganghari Prabhu. In fact, very affectionately, Pankaganghari Prabhu would call him as Mr. Prem Kishore. So we would like to hear from Prem Kishore Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandapranam. Because of mercy of Madhacharya Prabhu, from the early days of my brahmachari life, I got to communicate with Pankaganghari Prabhu. Whatever questions we had, we always asked Pankaganghari Prabhu, and through Pankaganghari Prabhu, Jananivas Prabhu, and both of them. And within 2-3 days, the reply will come crisp and clear. We have a whole trail of whatever instructions they've given to us, and we are trying our best to follow them here. I remember very peculiarly when I first time came to temple. That was first time I had bought the Srimad Bhagavatam set, and the first canto I wanted His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj to sign, and I somehow approached him in Radha Govindnath temple near Ganeshji, and he came forward and signed it on his name on it, and just behind came Pankaganghari Prabhu, and I asked him, Prabhu, can you also sign? So he said, no, you ask Maharaj to sign. I said, Maharaj, he has already signed. So okay, then I'll sign. Then he took the book, and wherever Maharaj had signed, below that he wrote his servant Pankaganghari Das. And that is a most cherishable memory for me. In one of the Vyas Puja programs at Dadar Kshatriya Hall, I remember one of my first program I ever saw, and I suddenly during the Kirtan, I remember seeing one devotee who had become a horse, and there was another devotee who had climbed and was dancing, and as I was a person who's so jolly, and then somebody told me that they are the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and they are most available and most gentle devotees. So I would like to just speak some qualities of Prabhuji. He was the most concerned. So many times I've mailed prayers of so many devotees. Somebody is sick, he would not only pray for them, but always keep asking to me that how is this particular devotee, and whenever I get back to them that this particular devotee is fine, he used to be very happy and thank me for allowing him to do this, which was amazing. And it was whenever he came here, he always made us very, very comfortable by his very, very friendly behavior, always approachable. Once we took him to Akashganga, the first temple of Srila Prabhupada in Mumbai, which was just a stone's throw away from Radha Govindnath temple. And even I didn't know about the temple. Somehow the Nityanand Charan Prabhu arranged for this program, and as we went in that house, Prabhuji, who was very, very jolly, he turned very grave. He was looking at each and every corner, and as devotees were giving him a tour that here was the altar, here was the brahmachari staying, he asked where would Prabhupada take prasad. And Prabhupada used to take prasad at a balcony which is sea facing, and he sat there and he also had prasad there. And for me, it was like the gravest moment I've ever seen. He was sitting there and was just absorbed in his honoring of prasad. The most amazing thing in his classes I always felt was a hope that don't wait for purification. When you're hoping to become pure, it is that you're waiting for a siddhi to come. So just serve, chant and just serve. Recently some devotees told me that they both used to chant 64, they both Janadas Prabhu and Pankaganghari Prabhu chanted 64 rounds every day. But always encouraging devotees that chant, serve, ahetuki apratihata. The bhakti cannot be stopped. Just serve, and very soon you will serve in the spiritual world, but the service has to continue. Once I asked him in a travel, I was question and answers. I asked him, Prabhu, can you please? There are many times there are certain personalities certain devotees who tend to create a lot of scene, and when we make them understand things, when we try to communicate to them, they understand, but again do the same thing. So Prabhuji very gravely said that don't worry about them. Just like in Mahabharata, there are different characters. In a community, there are also different characters. So this is a particular type of character which every temple will have, and they will go on doing what they want to do, but you would go on helping them, and they again come back, again help them, and be compassionate. Once, he was so absorbed in serving Narasimhadev, he saw that very, very bright sari, very bright purple sari. He said, this sari will look so nice on Narasimhadev. They got it. They purchased another sari for Narasimhadev, but somehow that he said, no, this is a little blackish. But that time he was leaving. So we thought of buying another sari, and we went to this another stall in Matunga. And there we were buying the South Indian sari, and we asked him, Prabhu, can you please check? He said, yes, get me a red sari. And I got the chance of going to Mayapur. I gave him the sari, and he was so happy. He put it under his chin, and he put his hands up like this, Narasimhadev, and he said, click a picture. And then he said, okay. And then he saw the picture, said, yes, Narasimhadev will look very nice. So absorbed in his memories, we continue to serve under the shelter of seniors. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prem Kishore Prabhu, for highlighting Pankaganghari Prabhu's simplicity and detachment. Actually, his brother, Clive, he gave a very beautiful offering, saying that he asked Pankaganghari Prabhu that how could you travel and how could you live with so less money, no money? How were you feeling? So Pankaganghari Prabhu very nonchalantly said that I stopped worrying when I was over with all my money, because then I had nothing to lose. So that's so simple and unassuming. Both the brothers are. In fact, his niece, Tracy, she said a very beautiful pastime that when Pankaganghari Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu were small babies in a tram, their older sister forgot them in the market and she went home. And by the time she realized and she came running back, she was amazed to see that these two babies were not crying. There were people surrounding them, and both Jananivas Prabhu and Pankaganghari Prabhu were comfortable and they were just smiling at everyone. So they are very comfortable, very simple, and you very beautifully brought that point. Thank you so much, Prem Kishore Prabhu. Now I would like to request our last speaker, after which His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj would give an offering. So Sundari Kishori Mataji, who has known Pankaganghari Prabhu since she was a small baby. So we would like to request Sundari Kishori Mataji to make our offering.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for Radha Gopinath Temple for giving me the opportunity to speak. Some of the unlimited glories of His Grace Pankaganghari Prabhu. The one thing that struck me most amongst many of the memories living in Mayapur was that whenever classes go over, whenever devotees paid obeisance to Pankaganghari Prabhu, he would joyfully raise his hands and say, Jai Mayapur, Jai Shri Ram Mayapur. So for me, that struck me because as we hear many times that, one of the most difficult things to overcome is the false ego. And Pankaganghari Prabhu always so happily just, if someone tried to offer him respect, he would say, Jai Mayapur Dham, and he would bow down with them and touch the Dham and pay obeisances to the Dham. And just we can see now there's a beautiful flower garland of Keli Kadambas that's offered to him in his picture. Pankaganghari Prabhu would sometimes call me up and tell me, oh, there's a new tree growing here down near my room. There's a new Keli Kadamba tree. There's a Kadamba tree coming up. He used to take walks in the evenings and in the mornings to the Goshala, to different areas in the campus and Radhamadhav's garden. And he would just watch the plants grow, go and see the elephants. And his appreciation for the Dham was truly impressive. And for me, I felt that many devotees recently, in the past couple of years, there's so much facility to stay. There is ACs, there is proper markets, there was running water. But back in the days when Pankaganghari Prabhu was there was nothing. It was just a field. And he saw how everything came up, and he used to point to me on the roof. He used to say, before the new Brahmachari ashram came, we could see the yoga pit. So he would chant on the roof and just meditate on the yoga pit. And he was showing me how sometimes when the sun would rise, you would get a beautiful effulgent light coming from that direction. So many of you have mentioned that Pankaganghari Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu coming to Chowpatty was, like a highlight, and it brought so much joy to the devotees at Radha Gopinath Temple. And for for devotees living in Mayapur, seeing them leave was one of the most painful things. Whether they were going to Brajmandal Parigram, whether they were going to Kumbh Melas, whether they were going to UK or wherever they went, it was very painful to see Nrsingadev's puja not done by Pankaganghari Prabhu, Janani Prabhu not sitting there at times for Shri Bihar, or times when Pankaganghari Prabhu went to programs, so we didn't see him in the morning program. And growing up as kids, part of going to the temple was, oh, Pankaganghari Prabhu said this to me. I got sweets from Pankaganghari Prabhu. He looked at me and gave me a thumbs up. And, you know, all our discussions was based around what Janani and Pankaganghari Prabhu said. What did they do? And our enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness grew because they were a part of our daily lives. And we had a conviction to see such happy devotees meant that being a Krishna conscious devotee was a joyful process. And to me, Pankaganghari Prabhu perfectly embodied the statement Srila Prabhupada has made, that chant and your life will be sublime. He always chanted. He was always there for japa. He was always dancing ecstatically in front of Lord Jagannath during Rath Yatras. And they're very rare, or almost never. You would never see him, you know, very sad. He was always ecstatic. Another occasion is when we used to make flower juices, and we used to invite him and Janani Prabhu to come down and have a transcendental competition to see who would guess what flower was in what juice. So we would have 15 different clay pots filled with different flower juices like rose, gardenia, sandalwood, lilies, passion flowers, madhavi latas, malatis, lotuses. And he used to give us very useful tips, like you should put this much mishri, you should not soak this flower too long, it will go bitter. So he always gave us very practical feedbacks into how to improve our services to the Lord. And sometimes he was like a encyclopedia. He would sometimes say, did you know that the flowers, the white lotuses that we get during Shri Bihar, you get really big white lotuses that have many different many small petals, and it really looks like 1,000 lotus petals. So he would say that, did you know that the white lotus smells is what the snow smells like in the spiritual world? And he was always telling us all these kind of fun facts. And to end, I would like to tell a very intimate exchange between him and some devotees. And I fortunately was present at that time. It was one of his birthday celebrations, and it was just a small group of devotees in one devotee's house. He was sitting on the couch, and we were all sitting down. He was telling us different pastimes. And when Mataji asked him, Prabhu, every year we celebrate your birthday. And as each birthday goes, we know that the body deteriorates. We know that one day we won't have your association. What's your outlook on leaving your body, and how would you envision that? He kind of smiled, and he says, and he closed his eyes, and he said, for me, the ultimate picture in my head is that picture of Gop Kumar, where Krishna embraces Gop Kumar at the end of his journey. And he tells him, where have you been? I've been waiting for you. So when I heard Pankaganghari was physically not present with us, I was remembering that beautiful pastime. And I was thinking that he must be in Srila Prabhupada's embrace, in Krishna's embrace, that he's back with them and eternally with them. So he's happy there. And so after this exchange happened, the next year I decided that I was going to make a drawing of Krishna and Gop Kumar and make it his birthday present. So I I did that and I gifted to him. And he said, I'll hang it in my room in the Brahmacharya ashram. And I'll look at it every day. So I can remember you. I can remember your present, your thoughtful gift. And I can always remember Krishna. So I'll end on this note. And we'll always forever remember you, dear Pankaganghari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sundari Kishori Mataji, for your nice offering. Pankaganghari Prabhu would always say, Jai Mayapur Dham. In fact, he would raise his hands. And we could see this even in the last video when he was brought from Calcutta to Mayapur Dham. And devotees were doing kirtan and his oxygen levels were low. But still we could see that he was raising his hands and he was dancing. Although he couldn't get up, but so he was so conscious of the kirtan and Sri Mayapur Dham. So you very beautifully brought that out. And now we will have His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj address all of us. But Maharaj, if you kindly permit, just would like to say one small thing. Devotees were talking today afternoon, and we were recalling how Jananivas Prabhu and Pankaganghari Prabhu share a very, very beautiful relationship with you. In fact, once when serving prasadam to both of them, they said His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj has created a very, very amazing and unique Vyasasan, which is nowhere seen. And he said he loves to embarrass us. He keeps his god brothers and god sisters on the Vyasasan next to him, and he glorifies them as if he has 5 mouths. And then he tells all the audience to cheer them as Hari Bol. And when we all say Hari Bol, Maharaj says, much, much louder, please. And we get so embarrassed. And when we say we are embarrassed, Maharaj smiles and tells us, if you are embarrassed, then the mission is successful. So then they were saying how we have taught us the Vaishnava culture of appreciating and honoring devotees. So Maharaj, thank you for your tireless services and for your kind training and encouragement, all of us, teaching us how to appreciate and honor devotees. So we are very, very grateful to you, Maharaj, and we are eager to hear from you. Hare Krishna.
Om Agyantimidandasya Gyananjana Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patithanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are gathered today to offer our profoundest gratitude with the tears of our separation to His Grace Pankaganghari Prabhu. For many years, it was like a tradition for devotees of Radha Gopinath Temple, as well as many all over the world. When a devotee was in danger, in ill health, when a devotee had passed away, or when devotees' relatives were in difficult situations, we would contact Pankaganghari Prabhu to offer puja in Sri Mayapur Dham to Shri Radha Madhava, Sri Panchatattva, and Sri Prahlad Narasimhadev. And always Pankaganghari Prabhu was there to offer special worship prayers on behalf of those who were in need or those souls who have departed. And in Sri Mayapur Dham flows the holy river Ganga. And Srila Prabhupada cited from the scriptures how when we're offering something to Krishna, it is like taking a palmful of water from Mother Ganga and offering it back to Ganga. And I'm just thinking that Pankaganghari Prabhu, he is Mother Ganga, was flowing from his heart always in the form of his loving care for the devotee community. And at this time, we are offering our prayers and our worship for him. Pankaganghari Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu, they have always, in my heart, personified the sweetest understanding of the term God brothers. They were not just brothers, they were truly God brothers. In the service of Srila Prabhupada, in the service of Sri Sri Radha Madhav, they practically shared the same room together, day, night, serving Sri Sri Radha Madhav and the devotees. And even if they disagreed, it was with loving, sweet respect for each other. So completely united, like one soul and two bodies is how they serve the deities and the devotees. And the idea of unity and diversity is very much exemplified in the relationship that they had with each other in serving the servants of Srila Prabhupada. And I do believe that Sri Sri Radha Madhava revealed through their relationship with each other the standard of how we as family members in Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya's society should interact with each other. That unity in diversity. I'm remembering at this time my first meeting with Pankaganghari Prabhu. In the mid-1970s, Srila Prabhupada sent 2 Shalagram Shilas to New Vrindavan, and I was meant to be their pujari. Srila Prabhupada gave simple instructions that somebody noted down, and at the end he said, for more instructions, you should communicate with Janani Vasdas in Mayapur. So in those days, we had the postal system, and I wrote a letter to Janani Vas Prabhu, and by the time the letter got to him and by the time it came back to me, it was a couple months. And Janani Vas Prabhu is telling me how he was worshiping Shalagram Shila in Mayapur. And for several years, we were corresponding with each other in this way. After I was given sannyas, it was the first time I was given blessings to go to Mayapur. This was around 1983. I was especially eager to meet Jananivas Prabhu because Srila Prabhupada inspired me to accept him as my Shiksha Guru for deity worship, and that was my whole service for many years. So when I arrived in Mayapur, every evening I was staying in the Lotus building. Jananivas Prabhu would come and bring me Mahaprasad cookies and milk. And we would sit and talk for about an hour about Srila Prabhupada, about Mayapur Dham, about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with his devotees. It was just wonderful. And this was a highlight of the whole day for me. So one evening he came and gave me the cookies and the milk, and we spoke about Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda for probably an hour and a half. It was so wonderful. And at the end of the discussion, I said, I'm just so grateful to be with you, Jananivas Prabhu. And he smiled and said, I'm not Jananivas. I am Pankaganghari, his brother. That was our first meeting. We embraced. I was crying. I didn't even know that Jananivas Prabhu had a twin brother. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he spoke to 3 particular devotees from a village. To Mukunda, he said, you should earn material and spiritual wealth. To Narahari Sarakar, he said, you should live with the devotees and preach. And to Raghunandan Thakur, he said, you should worship the deity. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains how these are 3 very, very prominent services that different devotees of different natures and different ashrams will offer. Some will live with families and have an occupation, but they integrate their material wealth with their spiritual purpose by using everything for Krishna's service. Mukunda Sarakar in the spiritual world is Brinda Devi, the most intimate expansion of Sri Radharani, teaching us how to be an ideal household or a grihasta. And Narahari, he was a preacher. He was writing, he was preaching, he was traveling, he was having followers. Raghunandan, from his early childhood and throughout his life, he worshipped the deity of Gopinath. And Srila Prabhupada explains that all 3 are equal, all 3 are the same. They are all necessary for a spiritual society. Pankaganghari Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu, they truly are the senior most pujaris in our whole movement. Pujari Seva is so special. It's regulated, same time, every day, 7 days a week, year after year after year. They're offering their devotional service. And Krishna's Navayovanam, he's ever fresh, ever new, ever youthful. And similarly, devotional service to the deities, when it is done with devotion, is ever increasingly sweet. Pankaganghari Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu, they began the service of Radha Madhava when the deities were in a little hut in a rice paddy, and gradually, various structures were being built in Mayapur, and Srila Prabhupada made Mayapur our international headquarters. It's very much like the root of the tree of ISKCON. It's the place that Lord Chaitanya appeared, and it's a place that he, with the Panchatattva, established the Sankirtan movement for all the world. So service in Mayapur Dham is like watering the root of the tree of ISKCON, watering the root of the tree of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, and serving the deities, Shri Radha Madhav, Panchatattva, and Narsingha Dev is watering the root of the root. And these two brothers, Pankaganghari Prabhu and Janani Vas Prabhu, faithfully serve the deities year after year, decade after decade. And there were times in the history of Mayapur where there were brutal, dangerous attacks from outside forces with guns and with bombs and with knives. And there were times when there was heartbreaking social problems in Mayapur, very difficult. And especially after His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada departed from this world, how to sustain and continue the faith, the enthusiasm, and the morale when there were so many challenges. And for those who have been in Sri Mayapur Dham for many years, or for devotees all over the world who are aware of the situation, we all appreciate that two foundational pillars built on the foundation of Srila Prabhupada's mercy that kept the project in Mayapur spiritually strong and stable is the example of Pankaganghari Prabhu and Janani Vas Prabhu. They worshipped the deities in the way they worshipped the devotees. There was not a differentiation. In India, sometimes people who are senior or people who are pujaris develop a certain type of pride that they have a special service. And certainly Pankaganghari Prabhu and Janani Vas Prabhu's had the most special service of the senior most pujaris, personal, direct, intimate servants of Krishna and Sri Radha in our home movement. But as servants of the servants of the servants, they had such unfailing respect and appreciation and eagerness to serve each and every devotee, senior devotees, new devotees. They loved to serve. In fact, Srila Prabhupada himself, he gave the ultimate compliment to Janani Vas Prabhu and Pankaganghari Prabhu together. He said, all they know is loving devotional service. When Janani Vas Prabhu and Pankaganghari Prabhu would serve the deities together, when they would preach together, when they would dance together in kirtan, it thrilled our hearts. And over the years, there are many adults now who grew up from birth or from childhood in Mayapur. And one thing that's most dear to all of their hearts was the fatherly friendship that was given to them by Pankaganghari Prabhu and Janani Vas Prabhu. However busy with big festivals and pujas and so many projects going on in Mayapur, they always have time for everyone. There cannot be even a calculation to the loss of our movement. Such a humble, such a deeply devoted Vaishnav as Pankaganghari Prabhu has very suddenly left us. Truly a devastation of separation for the Mayapur community and for the worldwide community. It seems that Pankaganghari Prabhu, in the service of the deities and the devotees, he tried to maintain his body, but he was quite eager to go back to Godhead also. He had all the best care in Calcutta at the hospitals, but he wanted to be in Mayapur Dham. I'm just thinking, just last year, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, before leaving India, he expressed his desire that whenever I leave this world, let me leave on the battlefield preaching. That was his service. He was eager to live and to depart from this world as a general, serving all the Vaishnavas and serving all living beings, traveling and preaching. Pankaganghari Prabhu was Pujari in Mayapur for Sri Sri Radha Madhav Panchatattva Narsingadev, his Prabhu Datta Desh. That was his special intimate service to Srila Prabhupada. And he lived, and in the fulfillment of his very innermost desire, he also departed from this world among his loving associates, the Vaishnavas, at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Madhav in Mayapur Dham. Pankaganghari Prabhu's life is a life that gives us all great faith. He saw everything over the years, but yet he never fell into the trap of criticizing others. He never unnecessarily found fault in others. He was just everyone's well-wisher. And what he saw over the years, he had practically as much justification to find faults, to be bitter as anyone. But because Srila Prabhupada and Krishna was so beautifully the center of his heart and life, both Pankaganghari Prabhu and the glorious Janani Vas Prabhu, they're everyone's well-wisher. Trinadapi sunichena tarori basahishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari is the story of their lives. And it is because they embody this quality in such a special way that they can constantly chant the holy names, and they can find ever newer and fresher devotion in the service of Radha Madhav, the deities and the devotees. At Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Temple in Mumbai, all the devotees had a very special relationship with both Pankaganghari Prabhu and Janani Vas Prabhu. However busy they were in Mayapur, and however much they never wanted to leave Mayapur, whenever there was an installation of deities, whenever there was a special event, or even when there were welcoming of deities in the homes of devotees, Pankaganghari Prabhu, Janani Vas Prabhu would always come. In fact, they agreed to be the honorary head pujaris of all of our temples to give us instructions, blessings. Pankaganghari Prabhu is and will forever be one of the greatest well-wishers and friends in my life. And such a gift of having such a well-wishing friend in Krishna consciousness. There can be no precious gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And I believe there are many, many devotees who grew up under the loving care of Pankaganghari Prabhu and Janani Vas Prabhu, and who have been inspired by those foundational principles that they embodied. And so much of the incredible prosperity, where there are now thousands and thousands of devotees living in Mayapur. There are millions of people coming on pilgrimage every year. The Temple of the Vedic Planetarium, which is very much a jewel in Srila Prabhupada's desires to spread bhakti all over the world. All of these things have come from a simple rice paddy. And for that, we are forever indebted to Pankaganghari Prabhu and Janani Vas Prabhu. We are praying for Janani Vas Prabhu's good health and long, long life. By Srila Prabhupada's inconceivable arrangement, whenever we would see Pankaganghari Prabhu, we would remember Janani Vas Prabhu. And now whenever we see Janani Vas Prabhu, we remember Pankaganghari Prabhu. The love that these brothers shared with each other and with the world. We know that Pankaganghari Prabhu is forever in Janani Vas Prabhu's heart. And when I was speaking to Janani Vas Prabhu a few days ago, I felt that I was speaking to Pankaganghari Prabhu, and he was speaking to me. So Pankaganghari Prabhu is still with us in a very, very special and intimate way. And we're praying that Janani Vas Prabhu will bless us in this way for a long, long time to come. Separation from a devotee who has given his heart, his life, or her heart and life in the loving service of the Lord and all beings is deeply painful. That's the nature of love. But in feeling that pain of separation, we are connected with Krishna in a very special way, because such a devotee as Pankaganghari Prabhu, his whole life was to connect us with Krishna. With the tears of our separation on this day, let us honor the glorious eternal life of Pankaganghari Prabhu. Thank you very much. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, so much for your beautiful offering. Very beautifully you mentioned how both Nivas Prabhu and Pankaganghari Prabhu have personified the sweetest understanding of God brothers. And Shri Radha Madhav have revealed to us through both of them what it means to serve, cooperate, and have friendship with each other. And how they never separate service to deities and service to devotees. And they have been father figure and friendship they have offered to 3 generations of devotees. And the faith that they've given all of us in the process of Krishna consciousness, because they are free from all fault finding. So such beautiful, encouraging and beautiful offering, Maharaj. Thank you so much for your kindness. And now we will be having Jayanilo Premadana prayers. Maharaj, would you like to sing the prayers?
I have to leave in just a few minutes, so after I sing the prayers, if somebody else can continue.
Yes, Maharaj, we'll do that.
Ready to continue.
Yes.
In honor of Pankaganghari Prabhu, we are together reciting the prayers of the departed Vaishnavas by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Jaya Nilo Premadana Karuna Pracho
Jaya Nilo Premadana Karuna Pracho
Eno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur
Ena Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur
Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan
Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan
Kahadasara Gunata Patita Pavan
Kahadas Raghunatha Patita Pavan
Kahamora Bhata Yuga Kaha Kaviraj
Kahamora Bhatta Juga Kaha Kaviraj
Eka kole kotha gela Gauranatharaj.
Eka kale kotha gela Gauranatharaj.
Asane kutibo mata anale pasibo
Pasane kutibo matha anale pasibo
Gauranga gunera nidhi kotha gele pabo
Gunera nidhe kotha gele pabo
Se sabasangira sange je koilo bilas
Shiva Sangira Sange Je koilo bila
Se sangana paya kande narotamodas
Se sangana paya kande narotamada
Jaya Nilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur
Jaya Nilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur
Heno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur
Hena Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जोर से Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. We want to thank all devotees for participating in today's memorial festival. We had more than 1,000 devotees online and over 300 devotees in the Marathi, Gujarati, Odia, Bengali and Russian translations. We hope and pray that we can carry forward Pankaganghari Prabhu's memories and his example in our hearts and serve in Srila Prabhupada's mission in the sincere mood of servant of servant. I once again thank all of you and especially His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj for making this evening very memorable and very heartwarming and filling our hearts with a resolve and a desire to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission sincerely. Once again, thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Pankaganghari Prabhu ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanand. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
सेवा के लिए उनसे बहुत सारे हमें मार्गदर्शन मिला।
At least I can get even one fraction of his
अगर मुझे उनके
devotion
भक्ति
and
के
his dedication
एक
to
फ्रैक्शन भी
Srila
मिल पाए
Prabhupada.
तो मैं
Srila
बहुत
Prabhupada
अपने
ki
आप
jai,
को
Pankaganghari Prabhu ki jai.
सौभाग्यशाली मानूंगा। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील पंकजांगरी प्रभु की जय।
Thank you, Gauranga Prabhu.
बहुत बहुत
You
धन्यवाद
very
गौरंगा
beautifully
प्रभु।
brought this point about a deity worship standard. Srila Prabhupada said Mayapur was his
श्रील
place of
प्रभुपाद ने कहा कि
worship,
मायापुर
and
मेरा
Pankaganghari Prabhu has set the gold
भक्ति का
standard
क्षेत्र है
and
और
for the Lord's
पंकजांगरी
worship.
प्रभु ने इसको
And
गोल्ड
as
स्टैंडर्ड
Uttam Prabhu
स्थापित किया है
Now
कि
it has a
कैसे
contagious influence on all ISKCON temples all over the
विग्रह सेवा
world,
करनी चाहिए।
Prabhu's standards of deity worship. So we are very grateful to
तो
Pankaganghari
हम
Prabhu and
पंकजांगरी
Gauranga
प्रभु
Prabhu.
के
Thank you
बहुत
also for
कृतज्ञ हैं
pointing this about
और
doing
गौरंग
the
प्रभु के
same
भी
service consistently for
उसी सेवा
decades.
को अनेक
Our
सालों
minds
तक
trouble
40 सालों
us.
तक
We want
करना
to keep
मन
changing our
हमेशा
services,
कहता
but
है कि
somebody
हम
could
सेवा बदलना है।
continuously serve for almost
लेकिन
50
अगर कोई
years.
व्यक्ति
It's very
40-50
inspiring.
साल के लिए
So
एक ही
thank you,
सेवा
Gaurang
करता
Prabhu,
रहे,
for
ये
highlighting this.
बहुत ही
Now I
महत्वपूर्ण
would like to request His
बात
Grace
है।
Nityananda
अब
Prabhu
मैं
to
नित्यानंद
share
प्रभु
his
से
offering.
आग्रह करूंगा कि वो अपने कुछ
Hare Krishna.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य
ज्ञानांजनशलाकया
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं
तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
हरे कृष्णा.
हरे
Thank you for
कृष्णा।
giving this opportunity.
धन्यवाद मुझे ये मौका
So
देने का।
Pankajangari Prabhu
पंकजांगरी प्रभु
is one such amazing person
ऐसे अद्भुत व्यक्ति थे
that
जो
when we deal with him,
जब हम उसके
it
साथ
would be appearing that
संबंध
back to Godhead is
बनाते थे,
just one
ऐसा
step
लगता
away.
था, अनुभव होता था कि जैसे भगवत धाम वापस जाना एक ही कदम।
Devotional service would
भक्ति
become
में
very
सेवा बहुत ही
simple.
सिंपल या
And the practice
सादा
of
लगता
devotional
था
service is not at all
और
difficult.
भक्ति पालन
These
करना
are the
बहुत ही
feelings
आसान लगता
we
था।
would get when we associate with
ये
him.
अनुभव होता था जब भी हम उनके
Like
साथ
for
रहते
example,
थे। जैसे कि
one devotee asked him
एक
the
भक्त ने
question
उनसे पूछा सवाल
that,
कि
oh, Prabhuji, how can we become
प्रभु जी
humble?
हम कैसे नम्र बन सकते
So
हैं?
hundreds of times you would hear from
अनेक बार
senior
हमने
Vaishnavas, spiritual master about humility,
नम्रता
but
के
it
बारे
appears
में
to be a very
गुरु
tall order.
और अनेक वैष्णवों
But
से
in
बहुत बार सुना है
Pankajangari
और ऐसा
Prabhu,
लगता था कि बहुत ही
when he
ऊंची बात,
explained
लेकिन
how we can
पंकजांगरी
be
प्रभु
humble,
ने
he
कहा
said
कि नम्र कैसे बनना
that
है।
we
वो
are
बोले
materially incapable
हम
because
तो
we can't even see
भौतिक रूप
what
से
is
सक्षम
behind
भी
the
नहीं है
wall.
क्योंकि हमारा शरीर तो
We
एकदम
can't see
कुछ
what
ही
is
काम का लायक नहीं है।
behind our
हम हमारे
body.
पीछे क्या है हम देख नहीं
So
सकते,
materially we are
तो
incapable,
भौतिक रूप से तो हम
and spiritually,
कुछ काम के नहीं।
if I show you two apples,
अगर हम
one is offered to Krishna, another is unoffered,
दो सेव
will
दिखाएं,
you be
एक
able to tell the
भगवान
difference
को
between
अर्पित किया
the two,
एक को
which
नहीं
is
अर्पित
offered,
किया,
which is
क्या
unoffered?
आप बता सकते हो कौन
So
सा अर्पित है कौन सा नहीं?
so both looks
नहीं,
alike.
दोनों एक जैसे
So
दिखेगा।
spiritually we are incapable to
तो
understand what
आध्यात्मिक
is
रूप से
spirit, what is
हमारी कोई
matter.
काबिलियत
Materially
नहीं
we are
है, भौतिक
incapable.
रूप से भी कोई
So what is
काबिलियत
the
नहीं है,
difficulty to become
तो
humble?
नम्र बनने में क्या तकलीफ है?
So such a kind of answers he
तो
gives
इस
that
प्रकार का
humility
जवाब
is
वो
not so
देते थे
difficult. We are
कि
materially
नम्रता
incapable,
पालन
spiritually
करना
incapable.
बहुत ही आसान है।
When we
जब हम
when we went to Sir Pankajangari Prabhu,
पंकजांगरी प्रभु की सेवा
it is
करने के लिए
also
कभी जाते
very
थे,
uncomfortable way we can serve him,
तो
because whenever
उनकी सेवा करना भी बहुत कभी कभी
senior
कठिन
devotees
रहता था,
come, there is a
क्योंकि
nervousness and there is kind of
उनके जैसे वरिष्ठ वैष्णव
what
को
would
देख
happen,
करके हम
how can we serve,
नर्वस हो जाते थे,
these kinds of problem comes.
ऐसे ऐसे प्रॉब्लम आते थे।
But Pankajangari
लेकिन
Prabhu,
पंकजांगरी प्रभु
when he would be there,
जब वो
it is
रहते
so
थे,
easy to serve them. It's so nice to serve them,
बहुत ही
serve him, because like if you ask him, Prabhuji,
आसान
can
कर
we
देते
have
थे। हम
prasadam
अगर
now?
पूछते थे कब प्रसाद लेंगे क्या,
Can we have prasadam now? If you ask, he
तो वो
say,
कहेंगे
I am Pankaganghari,
हाँ,
I am
मैं
always
पंकज जांगरी हूँ,
hungry.
मैं हमेशा भूखा
So
रहता हूँ,
such kind of
हंगरी रहता
so
हूँ।
easy. I mean to say
यानी
that
उनके साथ
it is so nice
उनकी
to
सेवा
serve him
करना
prasadam.
बहुत ही आसान होता था।
Though they are, when I say them or
दोनों
they,
ही
I tend
मैं
to include Jananivas
जब
also.
भी मैं
So
उनको
sometimes
कहता
use them.
संबोधित करता हूँ
They
तो
are
दोनों जननिवास प्रभु और
inseparable.
पंकज जांगरी प्रभु दोनों
So
को
it
ही
is
संबोधित
so
कर रहा
nice
हूँ।
to serve them because
और उनकी
they
सेवा
are
करना बहुत ही आसान
highly
रहता था,
renounced.
अच्छा
At the
रहता
same
था,
time, they are
क्योंकि वो
connoisseurs of
हमेशा
prasadam and so many other
प्रसाद
aspects of
और भक्ति में
arts
सेवा की
also. So
और कला
I
का भी
at
बहुत
least
ही वो
learned how to eat prasadam
आदर करते थे। जब मैं
by seeing how Jananiwas Prabhu, Pankaganghari Prabhu take
प्रसाद को
prasadam.
कैसे स्वीकार करना है,
The
ये
way
बात भी
how
मैंने
they,
उनसे ही
I mean, I
सीखा।
learned how to honor
जब
prasadam, take prasadam, release prasadam.
प्रसाद को
So
कैसे
it is
अनुभव
such
करना चाहिए,
how Krishna conscious they were in everything they
कृष्ण
do.
भक्ति कैसा करना, उनके जीवन को
Even
देख करके
though
कोई भी व्यक्ति
once
सीख
in
सकता है।
Radha Gopinath temple,
एक बार राधा गोपीनाथ मंदिर
Pankaganghari
में
Prabhu and Jananiwas Prabhu, they were
पंकजांगरी
together
प्रभु
one time.
जननिवास प्रभु
So they were
आए
resting
थे
in our ivory
और
tower
वो हमारे
guest house on top.
गेस्ट रूम में
One
आराम
room,
कर रहे थे,
sliding doors would be there.
और वहाँ पे स्लाइडिंग के
So in that room,
दरवाजे
when the
थे।
morning when they got up, I
सुबह
would
जब उठे
go there and remove
मैं
the
गया और
some beddings or some
उनका
mosquito nets like that.
मस्कीटो नेट वगैरह
So
निकालने
as
गया,
usual, after
तो
taking bath before
स्नान वान
Mangalarti,
करके
I
मंगल आरती
went
से
there
पहले
and
मैं उनके रूम पे गया
they were also up, and
और वो भी उठ गए
I
थे,
went there and removed the mosquito net.
और फिर मैंने मच्छरदानी
And
निकाला।
then
तभी
I took some water bottle to offer them.
मैंने उनको
They
कुछ पानी
immediately
पिलाने के लिए
chastised
गया।
me. What kind
उस
of
समय
Brahman you are?
वो बोले क्या ब्राह्मण हो तुम,
That you just
तुम
touched our
अभी
this sleeping mosquito net,
हमारे
and without
मच्छरदानी को
washing
छुए
hand, you are
और बिना हाथ
touching
धोए
this water bottle.
तुम पानी के बोतल को
So
हाथ
it's a
लगाए।
mild chastisement. So I
तो
got
इस प्रकार से उन्होंने
okay. I
मुझे
understood. Okay, this is sometimes we
डांटा।
feel that
कभी-कभी
this is
हमें लगता है
the great Vaishnavas
कि बहुत ही
mosquito
बड़े
net. So
वैष्णव हैं,
there is no
तो उनके मच्छरदानी में और इसमें कोई
mochi in that, but
उसमें
we
कोई
are
रुचि
serving
नहीं
them,
है,
so we need to see
लेकिन
that.
उनकी सेवा करते
So
समय
such
हमें
kind
इस
of
बात पे
purity,
भी
such
ध्यान
kind
रखना
of
चाहिए।
cleanliness,
इस प्रकार की सूची
simplicity,
रुचि वगैरह वो देखते
such
थे,
kind of pure brahmanas they
बहुत ही
were.
शुद्ध
At the
ब्राह्मण थे।
same time,
और साथ ही साथ
I took Pankaganghari Prabhu to
पंकजांगरी प्रभु को
Panaganga
एक
in
बार मैं बाणगंगा
Mumbai,
लेके गया,
and
और
after Panaganga there is
बाणगंगा
some
के
more
बाद
distance. If you walk towards
थोड़े
the
दूर
ocean side,
आगे
there is
जाने
one.
से
We heard there is one Lakshman
एक
Ganga
लक्ष्मण
in the
गंगा
middle
भी
of the
है
ocean over there.
समुद्र
So
के बीच
somebody
में।
invited us, somebody
तो
showed
किसी
us,
ने
and
हमसे
we
कहा
went
कि
there.
अरे
And
वहां पे भी जा सकते,
I have not gone before there.
मैं उससे
The
आगे नहीं
path
गया,
was filled with a lot of garbages and filthy things, and
लेकिन
the
वहाँ
road
बहुत
was very
कचरा
bad.
वगैरह सब था।
So I felt very bad
रास्ते
and
पर
apologized
मुझे
to
बहुत बुरा
Pankaganghari
लग रहा
Prabhu.
था कि
Prabhu,
अरे
sorry
यार
that I
ऐसे
didn't
गंदी
know
जगह
this
पर
such
मुझे
kind of
उनको लेके जाना है।
path. So I'm sorry I'm taking you like this.
तो मुझे लगा
So
कि
we
यार
reached there, and
मैंने मुझे
and